A stat that you should all know is that the average coach or consultant will spend in between 5 to 8 hours on a proposal before actually acquiring a new customer. Now, when I say actually acquiring a new customer, with the hope to acquire a new customer. So when you think about that, that's 5 to 8 hours of time that you are not getting paid by creating proposals. And now if it takes you 4 proposals to get a client, you do the quick math on that, you start realizing that it can be in up to 30 plus hours of your free time before you get a client. And it starts to extend out. And there are some principles that we've come up with over the years, because the problem I had is the higher up you go with companies, or the more people want to spend with you, the more they expect you to have something in writing. Hey there, expert. If you're a consultant looking to grow your practice to 500K and beyond, then this masterclass is a preview into some of the strategies and tactics we teach our experts around sales, marketing, and how to create high converting offers and delivery system so they can enjoy more profit without sacrificing their lifestyle. Now, if you like this session, please give us a like, a subscribe, or even comment. Every bit of engagement helps get this message out to more people. Anyway, enjoy the masterclass, and we hope to see you in person, on a call, or at one of our events soon. Guys, listen, welcome. We have the profitable proposal. We have a training on this. So for those of you who haven't gone through it, if you go to the arena, we have a whole workshop on exactly this. But the reason why I'm bringing it back up today is because you're either in one of two places. Actually, let's go for 3. 1, you don't really have a proposal. You know you should have one. People ask you for one. People ask you, like, can you send me scope of works? Can you send me some details? Can you send me some information? And you know you should have something in writing, but you're not sure what it should look like. So rather than sending emails back and forth, you're curious. Second, you have a proposal. The proposal is doing okay. You think it could do better. And, you know, like it's relatively all right. But how you use it, and more importantly, when you use it, is really important. And we want to talk about when a proposal should come into play. Or you're in the third column, which is you understand what a proposal is and the purpose of it. But every time someone asks you for something, you're constantly customizing a proposal. You're changing, tweaking, adding, extending, building, and it can take you hours. A stat that you should all know is that the average coach or consultant will spend in between 5 to 8 hours on a proposal before actually acquiring a new customer. Now, when I say actually acquiring a new customer, with the hope to acquire a new customer. So when you think about that, that's 5 to 8 hours of time that you are not getting paid by creating proposals. And now if it takes you 4 proposals to get a client, you do the quick math on that, and you start realizing that it can be in up to 30 plus hours of your free time before you get a client. And it starts to extend out. And there are some principles that we've come up with over the years, because the problem I had is the higher up you go with companies, or the more people want to spend with you, the more they expect you to have something in writing. So I'll say that again, this is really important. The higher you go up the chain with big companies or corporates, and the more people are willing or wanting to spend with you, the more they will expect you to have something in writing. It's kind of baked into the DNA of most businesses, because what they are actually saying to you is, I want to see something. Because if we step back again even further, as consultants, what you're actually selling is very intangible. There is no, like, I'm selling a vision of something you don't have yet, based on something you don't know if you can achieve. And my goal is to put something in between what you think and what you want to help you make sure you get there faster. That takes a lot of trust for people. And depending on the relationship equity that has been built up in your marketing, that might be very easy to get people to a point of going, yes, let's do it. Or it might require a proposal, multiple meetings, different decision-making conversations before people build up enough relationship. There's like a relational tipping point that kind of helps them rationalize a spend. And so over the years, I've always thought I'm not somebody who wants to be. I'm not a lazy person. I'm an efficient person, and I've had to really distinguish between the two, because people will often say, "Oh, Rana, you outsource everything. Like I will outsource, someone to mow my lawns, or I'll outsource someone to help clean the house, or I'll outsource someone to clean my car," because I look at my time as the most valuable thing. So when I look at business, I'm like, why would I spend 5 hours on a proposal? That seems ridiculous. What if I had a solution and I could create a solution that 80% of the time got 100% of the outcome I wanted? 80% of the time could get 100% of the result I wanted. And so I started to think about the dynamics of relationships. What makes somebody get to a point where they're happy to invest with you? And especially in corporate, when you send a proposal to somebody and it kind of gets pinballed around the company to different people that you never speak to, or even if you're in small organizations, they could have multiple decision makers in there, and all of a sudden you've got people weighing in on what they think about your services without you being there to defend it. So there's a few things we're going to cover today, and then what I'm going to do is, if you have a proposal or you have questions about this, guys, bring it to the floor and let's sketch out what a proposal could look like for you and how it could work. Let's dive into a couple of principles first, shall we? Can I just ask before I do, actually, who here sends out a proposal currently, or a document of sorts that has a list of what you do? Just a yes or a no in the chat, Y or an N, just so I can have a bit of a... Yep, perfect. Catherine, yep. Anthony, yep. Nano, yep. Okay. Just in a word, let me know, do you think the proposal helps or hinders, or is kind of like unknown as to whether it helps you achieve your goals? Does it help you achieve your goals faster? Do you find sometimes it hinders the results you want? Or is it kind of like meh, you're not really sure? So helps, hinders, or meh? let me know in the chat, out of interest. Because the majority of consultants I speak with, a proposal ticks a box, but it doesn't actually add value. And we'll talk about that. Catherine's got a crying face. So, okay. Sales page, interesting. Probably unknown, hasn't resulted in a sale yet. Great. So we know that Anthony, probably not work. If you haven't sent one and it hasn't related in a sale, probably not great. Catherine, sad face, I'm assuming doesn't work. Rob, looking smart, mate, in his suit. You let me know, what do you think, if your proposal works. Nano, we'll loop back to you at the end of this. I'd love to have a look at your landing page, mate, and see what you send people. I think it's always good for people. Depending on what you're selling, guys, a proposal becomes really important. Now, let's quickly zoom into a couple of principles. I'll wait for my iPad to catch up. In a consulting business, let's give you a couple of principles first to work with, okay? So every single person that does business, you, me, and anyone else, will know that there are 3 reasons why people will buy. First is they're always looking at money, the investment. How much is it? Then they're always looking at time. How long is it going to take? But more importantly, what they actually want is, how long until I see progress, and what kind of progress will I see over time? So money, how much is it going to cost? 2, time, how much progress will I make, and how long will it take to do that? Now, the last part here is something that people don't take into account, and this is what I call energy. And energy comes down to the word convenience. Human beings are geared for convenience. Our brains are wired for convenience. If we can achieve something faster, easier, or sooner, we'll opt for that option because we are always looking for shortcuts. Our brains are energy conserving machines. We're always looking for a better, easier, faster way, which is why people are always looking for the next shiny object. But how does that relate to a proposal? Well, if you put a line through this and we just split up what you do into two categories, and we had an A and we had a B. These are our options. One is like cost effective and one is convenience driven. So one is cost effective and one is for convenience. Right? So cost or convenience. And what I mean by that is people are looking, wherever you go, they're always looking for a solution. Ultimately, everything in the middle here is a solution. If I drew your framework that we go through, your money model, that is your operating system. That is the thing that you do. It is what you do, how you do it, why you do it. It doesn't change. You do not create a new model and a different offer for different things at different stages. What you do is you realize that you only have one offer. And we'll go through the principles in a minute. Because what you do as a consultant is what? If we go back down, let's draw out your money model. Well, first thing we do is our services are always based around a promise or an outcome. It has to. If there is no outcome for what you do, there is no purpose for what you do. And if there is no purpose for what you do, then there is no need for someone to do it. So if I don't know what you do, I don't know why I should work with you. So the first thing is a business, all a business is, if you simplify it right down, a business is essentially a promise or an outcome with IP and a process around it. That is it. So people are interested in the what, but they buy the how. They're interested in the what, but they buy the how. So I go, oh, that's what I want. I want to become an author, Nano. Oh, I want an online program that I can sell like 24/7, Anthony. I want to feel more fulfilled in my personal and professional life, Catherine. I want to be able to get higher paying contracts more consistently, Rob. I want that. I can identify with the what. But that's not why I choose you, and it's not why I buy from you. Why I buy from you is because of the how. How do you do it? How do you articulate and demonstrate the value of what you do? Because that's what I need to be sold on. I'm interested in the promise, but I actually buy the plan. And so what you realize is that promise is what someone wants, but there is a problem which is stopping them from achieving it. And so with a proposal, you think about, like, if I was to look at the promise in the middle and I was to draw a line like that around the outside, this is the problem. It's kind of like a force field. People want that thing in the middle, but they don't kind of know how to access it. So they need you to unlock it. And that's the reason why people want to talk to you. They want to understand what you do. And when someone says, can you give me a proposal? What they're actually asking for is change proposal to the word plan. So if someone says to you, can you give me a proposal? No. It's not what they're asking. They're asking, can you give me a plan? If you can make that distinction in your mind, where you can take the word proposal, a filthy, dirty, boring, generic, crap word, and remove it from your vocabulary and change it with the word plan, you will end up making more money by default. Because what that enables you to do is start to understand that a plan is strategic, a proposal is tactical. No one wants the tactics, I can tell you. We're all consumers. You don't want to sit there going, tell me all of the information about all the things that you do. Boring. I want you to take me on a journey of what the plan is and how it's going to help me get to where I want to go, which is this thing in the middle. So as we zoom back and we take, and we'll move on to that money model soon, what you realize is that you've got two modalities, ultimately. There should be always two options in a proposal. Never give one option. There should be one that takes care of the price, right? So it's price driven, but there should be always one that's cost, and the other one should be convenience. And now you go, well, how do I differentiate between the two, Rana? Well, you've got to start thinking of the word access. So this line in the middle, this energy line, is the word access. And what access means is there are three things that you can vary to give people different levels of access based on the investment that they are willing to make in you and your company. And it's really important that you understand the constraints of and the capacity that you put on yourself and your business, so you don't end up creating a monster that is your business that you hate and resent. Now, this is a whole nother conversation for another time. We're talking about proposals here, but what is important is that you understand that what do you want to deliver and what don't you? What's the scope of what you do and what isn't the scope of what you do? What are you willing to say yes to and what are you willing to say no to? And if you are willing to say yes to something, how much do you charge for it? And that's where money becomes really important, because money is actually a barrier. It's not a barrier to protect yourself and to understand what people can access. And there are three accesses you can have. They can access your time, which is the highest level of resource that you have, is your time. It's finite. So you can give it to people in different ways. The other thing that you can put in is service. How much service you give to somebody. And a service doesn't mean your service, but service could mean something like, design, graphics, coding, building, hosting, anything that complements your consulting and adds a service around it. You can add a service. It could be a software. So different services, different softwares, different things you can give different access to. And the last part is resource. And resource is basic resources, advanced resources. Like if you think of anything, any software, you can have the light version, you can have the advanced version, you can have the basic version, you can have the, enterprise version. So access to time, services, and resources are how you would bundle up an A or a B offer. A, meaning it is very highly leveraged, because what it is, it's more on the line of being productized, right? Productized, which means it's a cookie cutter. Everyone hates the word cookie cutter. I don't want a cookie cutter approach. Well, guess what? Pay for a customized one then. So the reality of a consultant these days is that you have to understand what cookie cutter means. What it means is you don't want to pay as much, therefore I don't want to have to work as hard, which is fine. If you want to pay $50, I'll give you a resource. For example, I'm not saying you sell a $50 thing. So if your A offer should be something that is more leveraged in terms of the access that you bring, leverage in terms of time, service, and resources. Now, at the top, you can differentiate by saying at the highest level, this is customized or personalized, right? So you add more convenience. It's more convenient. The more access somebody has to you, the source, and to your time and your services and your resources, the more convenient it is for them to achieve the outcomes they want. And somewhere along the line, you've got to design for yourself the perfect balance between productized, so there is still enough value in it for the consumer to want to work with you. And in some cases, it might be something as simple as, in my A offer, we don't call it an A offer, but for now, for this training, for your A offer, you get access to me once a quarter. We do a strategic plan once a quarter. You get access to my a program which walks you through the fundamentals and the process, and then resources. You'll get access to templates, tools, and trainings that enable you to install and implement faster. If you want my higher level program, which is my B level program, we call it something else, you will get access to more of my time. So we catch up every month. We help you implement the marketing system that we teach you, so our team will do it for you, and you get access to playbooks and advanced resources, so you have higher levels of support, more sophisticated resources, so you can attract higher level clients. Which one was going to work best for you based on your budget? So now what I've done is I've encapsulated a couple of things, haven't I? Money, time, energy. And when we zoom back to this, those of you who have done your money model in Expert, and by the way, if you're watching this on a replay, this is really important, because as we say, this model here is the operating system that we help you create, that takes your experience and expertise and puts it into one place. You've got to understand a couple of things about how to create a proposal. If the promise is in the middle, it's the thing that people want the most. It's the reason why. It's the what that gets people interested. It's not the how that gets people to buy. But what you realize is the thing around the edges, 1, 2, 3, that we call the foundations, that becomes the plan. Right? It's the thing that people buy. 1, 2, 3. That's how we're going to help you get that thing. And then what people do is we need to also realize that in the corners, if you look at the plan, in the corners here are the fundamentals. These are the things we've got to do. But in the proposal, the way I want you to start thinking of it is not so much as connect, engage, convert that we have, but I want you to start thinking about it in terms of phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. Because what you realize is, if you think about this as revolutions of the triangle, in a proposal, that's how I think of it. 1, it's 1 revolution. 2 is 2 revolutions. 3 is 3 revolutions. No one ever just does something once and achieves their outcome. What you realize is phase 1, we're going to build this plan and this is the outcome. Phase 2, we're going to go to the next level, the next phase, and achieve these outcomes. Phase 3, we're going to go to this level and achieve those outcomes. And by phase 3, you're going to be in a whole nother place on a whole nother level. I want you to think of it like phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. Do you know what I mean? And all these are literal revolutions. Phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. People want to understand how they are going to move up the ladder to achieve their outcome. Remember, progress is linked to retention. Getting somebody in is not the same strategy as what gets someone up. Now, we're talking about proposals, not program designs. So what I'd like to do is help you unpack this. So all I'd like you to do for the fun of it today is take this thing, write the promise that you have in the middle. The phases, the plan on the outside for us is model, offer. We're going to dial in your offer. Make sure it's a high converting offer that makes your marketing and sales absolutely seamless and effortless. Then we're going to look at the message. We're going to create a campaign based on your offer that's going to go to market and get the interest you want to help build up the demand around the product or service that you've got. And then we're going to monetize that product or that service in a way that helps you generate income. So you're able to generate more money from the messages that you put out there, more income from the interest that you get. So not only do you have a great offer that's getting people interested, you've got a message that's bringing in more opportunities, and then you're able to monetize it, which is helping you generate more consistent and stable income. and at least you have a system to grow your business, which in the middle, that's what we do. So when I look at that and I think to myself, okay, if I was to write a proposal for someone, there's a couple of principles that I want to read, like I've written out here that I want to read out. One, keep proposals brief. Longer doesn't mean better, right? Brief. Super, super important that we understand that. Make sure that the proposal focuses on outcomes and benefits rather than methodologies and processes. Like, no one wants to know, like, we install this thing. If you are going to talk about process, but you want to add so that after it. We're going to install this system so that you get this outcome. We're going to work with you on this process so that you achieve this outcome. We're going to give you a template and some frameworks so that you can, and there has to be a benefit to it, like as in an outcome that people want. The other thing is, remember that people love options. Options create opportunity. Rather than just having a yes or no proposal, have an A or B proposal, as we've just said. Some people will say have 3 options. You can have 3 options. I find 3 is a crowd. A, B. And the third option can be when they become a client, you can let them know how they can actually work with you at a higher level down the track. But just get people to yes faster by giving them a this or a that offer. Cool? Always lead with the investment and the fee early rather than waiting at the end. What I mean by that, your proposal should have options that speak to the law of cost. I want to save money, or convenience. I want to invest money. And it's important that those 2 distinctions are put into your proposal. Always focus, rather than logistics and tactics, right? Always focus on value and ROI. So it's almost like, now you don't talk about ROI in it as in the ROI on this, but what you want to do is give people an understanding of how working with you is easily worth any investment they pay. So you have to have a case for the confidence that your marketplace has. You also then need to use the words, I often find the last thing is that you want to make sure that you use language that emphasizes the words like partnership or collaboration rather than vendor, supplier. You know, it's like, we're here to support you. Our team partners with you. Myself, I think I will collaborate with you around. It's that kind of language helps them feel like they are going to be supported rather than it's a transactional relationship. It's a collaborative relationship, not a transactional relationship. And that's really important that people understand that. So there are a few things as well. This is the big one. I'm going to say this, I'm going to write this in red. Before you ever send a proposal, it always should be preceded with a conversation that qualifies the problem and the solution. We call that a brainstorm call. And that's what we teach you guys to do first. Do not send a proposal as if it's a Hail Mary into making your business going to helping. It's just like, I'm going to send a proposal and then I'm going to do these ones. There's a lot of people that will say, I sell by a Google Doc. I send a Google Doc and somehow people are just magically, they just buy. Cool. I just sell by chat. Great. But what I can tell you is on the other side of that, the retention is terrible. And so what you need to realize is conversations have to start the conversion process. The proposal is just a summation of the discussion that you've had. Hey, if you're enjoying what you're hearing so far, please like, subscribe, and comment. Getting this out to more people is why we do it, and hearing from you makes it all worthwhile. So please let us know. And by the way, if you'd like more information about the Expert Project, head on over to expertproject.com/launch, where you can tell us a bit more about your business, what you might be needing, how we might be able to help, and book a call with one of our team so we can help you grow your consulting business today. So that summation of the discussion is what you put into your proposal, but remembering how we teach you to have the conversation is not just made up. It's a set, structured framework that aligns to the proposal. So the principles that you talk about in your brainstorm also align with the outline and the process and the plan of the proposal. So you don't need to customize anything really, because you've already conditioned the person to think the way you want them to think, give you information around what it is that you do and how you do it, and you're quantifying and clarifying around the systems and the processes and the strategies that you've got as well. So you're not just getting any old problems, you're asking questions that give you the right problem to put the right solution in front of them, which is what the proposal is. It just anchors the opportunity. It's not something that gets thrown out into the wilderness and we go, hopefully that hits the mark. Okay? So to give you a little breakdown on what this is, we're moving fast, right? By the way, before I keep rolling on, is this valuable for you guys? Just let me know in the chat. Are you getting insights and some form of clarity? What's really important? I just want to know before I move on, because I've been punching out now for about 30 minutes. And it's very easy to lose you guys. Yeah. Anthony, rethink of current approach. Yeah, be interested to see what that means too, mate. We can jam on that as well through this. How about you guys? uh, 1 to 2 pages. So true. Brief for me is 32 pages, Rana. I'm used to writing a synopsis of have you heard of Lord of the Rings? My proposals are very similar. Cool. Yeah, okay. It's and guys, by the way, this is more simpler than it is. It's not easy, but it is simple. And what I want you to remember is that a couple of things. Let's put this in context, right? So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. This is the structure for a proposal. I want to get just super clear, and then I'll give you a demonstration of what ours looks like now. We've tweaked it over the last couple of years. So promise. Right? I want to make sure this is what you want. Because if they read that top line and that's not what they want, there's no point reading the rest of it. So, hey, so you want this thing, and the reason you want it is because of this. Right? Cool. And by the way, that's not customized. That should be something that's there because that's what your promise is. Next thing you do is you would talk about, okay, well, let's talk about the plan. So the plan is kind of fits in these areas, right? So you would talk about 1, 2, 3. That's the plan. That's what we're going to do with you first. In the first phase, phase number 1, we're going to do those 3 things. Why is it important that you put a lot of detail into the first phase? Because that's what people want the most. They are interested in what is going to happen as soon as we start. What's the plan? It's very hard to give someone a specific plan over 12 to 18 months because, quite frankly, no one really knows, because as a program goes on, the structure of it should become more flexible, because as you get to know someone's business, a linear solution to a dynamic environment is not helpful. A linear solution to a dynamic environment is not helpful as time moves on. However, a linear approach to a short-term problem is important because most people lack strategy and structure and need those things in order to get things back on track. So at the start, we want to give people strategy and structure, and then what we want to do in the following phases, 2 and 3, is we want to talk about phases. So these are not as detailed, but they're more higher level. These are strategic. So these are strategic outcomes. Phase 2 and 3 are like, when we go around the triangle again, this is how things are going to expand. When we go through around the triangle again, this is how it's going to expand. And basically what we want to see, what people want to see, is not necessarily the plan. What they want to actually understand is what is the phase 2 outcome. Or theme is a great word. And what is phase 3? Theme or outcome. Right, that's what people want. So now that should take about a page, no more than a page. And at the end of the day, whatever happens after that, we've got a whole training on that in our resource room. You can have a look at all the logistics and all of the pricing and all that when it sits in. I'll give you a walkthrough of ours in a second. But I can tell you now categorically, if what happens on those pages, right? If what happens on these pages is not something they want, it doesn't matter about the price. Price is not something that is the reason why people don't buy. Value normally is. And that's you can see that that's true because people will see value in an iPhone and not in an Android and pay twice as much. Or people will buy a Ferrari over a Hyundai because people will see value in that identity or that brand or that car. People will buy the premium level fittings and fixtures for their house over the cheaper ones because they see value in that for various reasons. Everyone's a bit different. But you realize that right now, that's it. If I go through your proposal and in that first page in a bit, I can't see how what you do is going to help me, or I'm not excited about the possibility of what we're going to do together, or it doesn't link with the initial conversation that we had, I'm out. A proposal should anchor the opportunity, not deter people from it. A proposal should anchor the opportunity, not deter people from it. And so this is the simplest, easiest, fastest way for you to articulate what you do. And why is this important? Because I want you to think of a proposal, aka a plan, differently. Your plan is an evergreen piece of architecture that enables you to articulate with consistency and clarity. It's why people should not rush a proposal, aka a plan. You should actually really put time and effort into it, because that proposal will speak in the same way to every person if it's done right. For example, let's go through and I'll show you exactly what I mean. So our proposal here, as you can see, we use Notion for those of you who are interested, because it's like a pseudo flexible website. Think of it like Google Docs and WordPress had a baby and they created Notion. And what I'm able to do is design this up, and I can change words on the fly. So like, to give you an idea, I can go into our Notion document, I can go into our Advantage page, and I can literally just edit straight from here. And it's live, right? So I can make on the fly changes, which I will not at the moment. Yeah, Notion's great. We use it for a lot of things. So if you're not a web designer, great. And it's getting better and better. So notice that the first thing I do is I have a banner like a website. Want to build a 500K consulting business? That's the promise. If you do not, then you probably don't need to keep reading. And then it says, we show expert consultants and coaches how to build highly profitable business models, generate right fit leads, and enroll more clients using a proven process. Right, if you think of our process, that's the same as our website. So I'm just trying to be consistent. Like, remember, the principles of a proposal are the same principles that are applied to your website, the same principles that apply to your marketing. Like, there should be congruence. Another conversation for another day. The expert advantage. So that's the name of our kind of this proposal. You want access to our expert community coaching and strategies to do this thing, right? To build a 500K expert consulting business with less than 20 clients per year, with a marketing process that attracts qualified leads each week, and to become a well-paid expert in your marketplace. Bypass years of trial and error trying to figure it out yourself, get access to our proven system. Together, we'll optimize and package up or create from scratch your expert money model in 3 phases. Phase 1. Look at that. The most detail goes into phase 1 because people want to understand the plan. Phase 1, we're going to build out your offer. And now, I don't mean to make you motion sick, but just watch this. Build out your offer. Phase 2, install our expert lead system. Message, campaign. Map out your expert sales sequence. Monetize. Right? Then, phase 2. Accelerate sales. So once we've set up the triangle and you've monetized something at least to like 10K, that'd be nice. Then what we know is you can take someone from a connection to a conversation to a client. We're going to go around again, but the focus this time is going to be on getting you to 10K per month consistently. So it's about recurring revenue. So now you're surrounded by perfect prospects and a proven process. It's easier to grow your business without hardcore selling. Leverage our systems and training to master one-to-many selling by designing, promoting, and delivering high-converting workshops, which is what we do second, right? We don't just push you into that straight away. We'll also help you transition your front-end expert offer into a retainer-based pricing model, allowing you to generate at least 10K per month consistently and predictably. Great. Then phase 3. We're going to go round again, because as you go round, you become smarter, better, and more efficient. So the focus shifts from 10K a month to now we're going to help focus on 10K a week, which is $40,000 a month, which basically equals 500K. Then we talk a little bit about the logistics, but not like you get this many things. We just talk about how we can help. And then we talk about the investment options. And then we talk about some extra benefits that they may get. But remember, the benefits are not logistics. They just talk about like, here are the other things that you will get in the program. But I don't talk about how much and when and all that. I just let people know, because people are always like, so what do I get? So what I've done is I've started with the most important stuff first. Promise, plan, phases, some logistics, the investment, benefits in case they want to know more, and then that happens in between when we have first things first. Draw this out. We have a brainstorm call where we find out what the problem is that they want, how urgent it is that they need it, do they have the budget, or what is their kind of budget, and are they interested in the solution that we've got. If they are, I send the proposal in between. So I book the next call, book next call, send the proposal in the meantime, and then I let people know, either one, have a read the proposal before we get together. I'd like you to have a look at what we do in case you have any questions. And option one, you will read the proposal and you will think, no, not for me, just doesn't resonate with you. Or option two, you'll read the proposal and you might have questions about the program, the investment, the structure, or questions about what you get and when you get it. That's okay. Bring those questions to the next call so I can answer any questions that you've got, and then we can help you move forward. Does that sound fair? Great. I use Loom to do a video in between. So I actually do a Loom video and I walk through the proposal with them. And then I basically will do something like this. This is the nutshell version. I'll say, hey, Nano, great to meet you today. Listen, I just want to send this through to you. Have a quick read. If you have any questions, write them down, bring them to the next call. But the reason I want to send this to you is because just to let you know, this is what we do. Everyone's a little bit different, but to give you an idea of how what we do works, we really want to help get you to 500K. As you said, you wanted whatever their goal was. So that's well within our scope. Phase one, we're going to really start working on the foundations with you and the fundamentals of what you need in your business to get you to that 30K a month. We're going to build out your offer, install a lead system, and really help dial in your sales sequence. Then we're really going to focus on revenue and retention. Phase two, we're just going to help you really scale up smart and consistent. And then phase three, we're going to help you retain clients in an intelligent way that drives more income consistently and predictably. Have a read. This is kind of some of the sessions that we delivered that's going to be really important for you to be part of. Investment wise, there are two options. As I said, when I asked you about budget, you indicated that you had a budget of around this much. Both of these options might be good for you. Have a read and then we can chat about what's the best one for you. These are some other things that we're going to include in the program for you. So if you have any questions, Nano, just let us know. Jump onto the next call and we can just answer those questions and then put together the plan for you to help you get started and move forward. Does that sound fair? Anyway, look forward to chatting with you then. Chat soon. Bye. Loom video sent off. Because when I look at Loom videos, I can see when someone has seen the video, so it's helpful for me. Then when they turn up to the launch call, let's just say 80% of the time, they show up with all the info and all they've got are a few objections that they would have had more of if I hadn't have sent that. And the objections might be just small things like, how much of that will I get? What if I need more help? What if we need this? What if? And you just answer the questions and align them to the outcome that they want. And just keep reiterating the reason why they're here, the reason why they need you, the reason why they want you, the reason why they showed up. And just say, so should we move forward? Does that make sense? And then we move into the launch call, which is another sales training that we have for you guys in the, as you know. But today was about the principles of a proposal. That's pretty much it. If you guys have any questions about it, let me know. But what I'd love for you to do is if you have your proposal, share it in the group. Let's have a look at it. And it's really important that you realize that these masterclasses are designed not purely just for me to share what is, like just some information about talking. There's two parts of it. There's mentoring. I want to share with you what's working for us so that it can work for you too. So you don't have to spend all your time figuring out what could work and what's going to work. I can share with you in real time what we're doing and what I'm seeing work. The other thing is, use these as a way to refine, not to reset. So I always think about things like in your business, there are things that are working and there are things that aren't working as well. The goal is not to throw out everything and start again. Your goal is to discern as the operator of your business, what is working and what could work better. And so these masterclasses, think of it like sharpening the sword, not getting a new one. It's refining what you've got, not having to reshape everything every time. Businesses start, the growth of a business is always fast at the start because you're building from scratch. And the challenge with growing a business is that it feels boring over time because it's small tweaks that make big changes. So the value perception of change in a coaching or a consulting business is perceived as less value because you're not working as hard. And we link hard work to valuable work. Whereas it's the old story, right, of the, and I'll tell this story and then we can leave it here for the day, but it's that old story of a plane that is holding $1 million worth of cargo is grounded because one of the propellers isn't working. And as a risk and a safety hazard, they can't afford the plane to fly off and lose $1 million worth of cargo. So they're frantic, but they're on a time schedule. And every minute that they are grounded is costing them money in delays and opportunity because they are supplying goods to another part of the world. They're scrambling to find someone who can come in and help. They reach out to a consultant and the consultant on the phone says, absolutely, I know exactly how to fix the propeller problem. I can come in and do that right away. And frantically, they're like, absolutely, come in. We need this off ASAP, ASAP, ASAP. So he comes in with his little toolkit and he says, point me to the plane, points to the plane. He looks at the propeller, looks at the outside shelling casing of the prop and says, all right, I know what to do. Walks in underneath the plane, gets a hammer, looks at one of the bolts, smacks it, and then goes in, ignition on, bang, done. 2 minutes worth of work, bang, the propeller's off, plane goes off. All of a sudden, a week later, they get a bill for $35,000 and they start to get annoyed. $35,000, mate, you only showed up for 2 minutes. 2 minutes. You showed up for 2 minutes, you tap something and you're invoicing us for $35,000? Are you serious? And the consultant turns around and goes, yeah, the $35,000 didn't just cover the 2 minutes of work. It covered the 35 years that I've spent learning where to tap the hammer so that propeller would go off fast. And you realize that him knowing where to hit the hammer saved him $1 million plus all of the loss that they would have incurred if that plane couldn't get off the ground. And so the moral to the story here is that as you work with clients and as you move through this environment, when we work together for a long period of time, the tweaks and the changes that we're here to provide you become more refined, but the value of those things become bigger. For example, if I just changed one paragraph of your proposal and that ended up being the paragraph that by some chance someone tells you after you've signed them up for $200,000, they said, I love the way you worded that. That was the difference between choosing you and the other guy. That one masterclass that you thought was 45 minutes, that you're like, yeah, I showed up, I did it, listened to Rans and Vaughn and I changed the words, that earned you $200,000. That's the ROI of consulting. It's insight and speed to insight over time, not I need more information to digest, because that's where it becomes harder. Speed to insight is the long-term value, and these masterclasses are designed to help you and give you guys that. If you've liked today's masterclass, please do me a favor, like, subscribe, and comment so we can hear from you and get this out to more consultants just like you who are looking to grow their practices to 500K and beyond. Helping consultants find their true worth and commercialize it in the marketplace is why we exist. If you'd like to learn how you can grow your consulting business, head on over to expertproject.com, learn a bit more about what we do, download some more of our free resources, or follow us on social media. We'd love to hear from you. And if you want a direct access link into one of our teams so we can learn a bit more about your business, what you're wanting to create, and how we might be able to help, head on over to expertproject.com/launch. Give us a bit of detail about you, your business, and we look forward to having a chat with you and helping you grow your consulting business. In the meantime, take care and bye for now.